I was in a place where I was healed enough. I think I was just in a place where I would yield enough.
Ooh.
God will tell us to do things that seem anti-productive. It's the 3 C's of marriage, which is communication, connection, and compromise. We are always on the same page because I've been willing to sacrifice at the expense of our feelings.
Because marriage is a representation of the groom, Jesus, and the church, right? The bride, the wife. How did, with all of that stuff growing up, how did you get to a point where you were healed enough that you were able to commit yourself?
I wouldn't say I was in a place where I was healed enough. I think I was just in a place where I would yield enough.
Ooh,
And
boy,
so,
bro.
yeah,
That was a
yeah.
bar. Okay, run that back. Say that one more time.
So I wasn't in a place where I felt like I was healed enough. It was more like I was yielded enough
Yeah.
to
Oof.
to follow exactly, because when it comes to relationships in general, when it comes to marriage in general, when it comes to raising children, which I haven't done yet, I know that the only way that I can do it God's way is by his voice, is only by
Mm,
relying on him.
yeah.
And there's so many times that I feel like when I take the reins and the leadership of what I'm doing without God is the times where things get messed up. And it's just because I'm not yielded. I'm not in that place where I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? What do you think I should do? God will tell us to do things that seem anti-productive.
Mm-hmm.
It'll
Yeah.
seem like it is not the what you should be doing. Like,
Right.
God will tell you when you're dropping a song, instead of promoting it, seek him and don't even push the song.
Mm.
Like, that sounds anti
Yeah.
like what you
Yep.
should do logically, right? But
Yeah.
it's a lot of times that I've seen when I go against my logic and I just trust it and put it in his hands. Those are the times where I find more peace and I'm able to walk in those things. And my marriage is is beautiful, man. Like, I can honestly say that um me and my wife, we call it the 3 C's, but it's the 3 C's of marriage, which is communication, connection, and compromise. And so
Yeah.
those are at the forefront of our marriage. She's my first ministry. So I spend ample time finding out what her love language is, what she needs from me, and then I serve her. And so
Amen.
my wife, she likes to be listened to. Now, listening takes me work.
Okay.
Talking, not so much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Communication's
But
good.
but I'm just saying I have to be intentional
Yeah.
when I listen.
Mm.
Now, for her to talk, it's nothing. And for her to listen, she's beautiful at it. But
Mm.
babe, I want you to scratch my back, okay? I need that kind of energy. And then she's like, "Oh, I don't feel like scratching your back," but you know what I mean?
I'll listen better.
But
Just go ahead, keep going. Right, a little lower.
right, right. We all have our love languages in the way that and so I feel like my marriage has worked so well and we're
Mm.
always on the same page because I've been willing to sacrifice at the expense of our feelings for
Mm.
God. And so there's been times where I'll talk about Pray Up. So Pray Up is a ministry that I do. I help churches build intercession teams an hour before their service.
Wow.
So getting the congregation involved in an hour in prayer helps their relationship, helps encourage the leadership, and it also charges the atmosphere for people that come in. So it's a
Yeah.
ministry that God has called me to do. And I got that ministry because we had gone to Africa and we had evangelized there. We did crusades and we just seen God move in miraculous ways. When we came back, we are like, man, we don't want to get so caught back into American society
Mm-hmm.
that we
Yep.
forget the drive and the things that we did here. Like, we want to keep it. And so we did this hour of prayer every night. And then one night the Lord tells me, I want you to walk around this property 6 times, which I didn't even know that was in the Bible, but he said, I want you to walk around it 6 times. He said, when you get done with it, I'm going to release your house. Well, when I was just walking that walk, it would take me like 3 hours in the cold. And
Wow.
I would just be praying the whole time I was walking. And then one day I just had a flash vision and I saw these big red letters, purple letters that said, pray up. And so God released me into that ministry because when we came back from Africa, like when we were in Africa during the crusade,
Yeah.
there was a circle of teenagers and people just praying their hearts out for the service
Man.
for like an hour and a half. And I'm talking about holding hands. And one person in the middle, God, what, like crying out to God.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, bro, we need this in America.
Yeah.
We need the prayer wars at the forefront. We need more men that pray. And so
Facts.
yeah, just getting more involved in that discipline. But I will say this. So for what I ended up losing my job, getting persecuted out of my job. Literally persecuted. Like they came with all these accusations against me, all this stuff,
Mm.
and it was like God pushed me out of there. It was so painful because it was a friend too, and I was
Mm.
doing a lot to be there for them. And it hurt a lot, but I needed it
Yeah.
because when I left, I went to go get another job, and the Lord said, "No, do pray up." And so now I'm in this spot
Wow.
where if I go to a leader or a mentor, and God has also taught me let him have the final say in my life, even
Mm-hmm.
when a mentor disagrees. If God gives me something direct that's in alignment with His word, then do it.
Mm.
Um, but I had to break off of that because when I honored people's gifting, I would compromise my obedience because I honored them. So I had to when I was breaking off of that, then I got to this place where I'm like, I'm going to obey the word of God. So for 6 months, I could not get a job. And every time my wife would look at me, she's like, we had 5,000 in savings, and that was for a house that we were going to put a down payment on.
Wow.
Well, if you remember, the prayer time was God said He would release the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm literally my wife would be I'm waking up in the morning like, God, where do you want me to go? And
Yeah.
He's sending me places, doing connections with pray up, and all these great things are happening. But I go home and my wife looks at me and she goes, what are we gonna do? i
Mm.
i need you to I need you to get a job.
Yeah.
I need you to go in there and pray again. And I go in there and I pray my heart out because I'm like in this position where I'm a hard worker. I don't If something needs to get done, I can get it done. I'm not gonna sit by. I can make things happen.
Yeah.
But I want to obey God more. So I go in there and I pray and I'm crying out to God like, God, I need you to confirm what you need me to do. And He would tell me, don't wait.
Mm.
And then that would settle in and I'd have peace about it. And I'd go out there and I tell my wife, he said, wait. And so it went on like that for about 6 months. And
Oof.
then,
Jeez.
by that time the 5 grand was gone.
Yeah.
And, you know, God released me to go work at State Farm for a brother of mine. And so I go work there. The first week I'm working there, I see this elderly couple that I used to minister in like a bad part of our neighborhood. I used to knock doors and pray for people.
Mm.
And I used to minister out their building. So I had a good relationship with them. They come to get insurance, they get insurance. And then he invites me over to eat. Well, I go over to eat and, um, just loved their house. I said, yeah, we've been looking for a house. We're trying to, get one at this point. And they were like, well, once you can buy our house. We're thinking about possibly moving out. And I was like, okay. It was like, and then he called me later that day. He said, hey, I have a Saturn View, 2008, and we're just wanting to give it away.
Mm.
said, we just want to give it away. We don't want to, we want to gift it to somebody. And I said, well, are you asking me?
I mean, I'll take it. If you offer.
And he was like, yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Yes, we would love you guys to have it. And I don't even care what you do with it. And so we sold that car for $5,000, got all the money back.
Got it back.
And that was the down payment for the house that they were selling us, and we got our house. So it was like,
Man, come on. Dad. Let's go.
6 months.
Wow.
That was rough, bro. That was rough.
I bet.
But that's what I mean about, and goes back to the point with what I was saying about marriage.
Yeah.
Was like, that's the only reason why it's worked, is because we push our feelings out the equation when it comes to God's word, or when it comes to God saying do this.
Yeah.
That's our trump card. Also, if my wife is ever fibbing, well, she does like to fib. So if you ever get around her, she will tell you a story and have you going. And one of our trump cards is on the Bible. Instantly,
Put that on the
it's like,
Bible.
yeah, you can't lie. You can't lie now.
That's funny. On your mama? No, on the Bible. Hey, if you liked any of this content and you found some value in it, make sure that you like, subscribe, and of course, share it. Also, if you're interested in some more, go ahead and check out these videos. Till next time, grace and peace. Adios.